Hey everybody, it's Dave with No Chaser, and you know what? I had another life-changing revelation. I always joke about that because, like, going through early recovery, like processing your life, you just have these life-changing revelations that come to you, and then you go back on them, and it just seems so. I don't know, like it seems like you discover yourself over and over again. But I truly found out, like, something that gave me a sense of peace that I was honestly struggling with, and I know a lot of people struggle with, is like where they are at in their life. This goes beyond like recovery or addiction. Like, I thought to myself, where I did a little experiment, a thought experiment, which is usually a bad idea, but I thought to, if I were to travel back to 20-year-old Dave and I were to tell 20-year-old Dave, hey, you are going to be living with your parents, you're going to be not at the job you quite like. You've done some of the things you wanted to accomplish, but not quite there. And that's about it. And I would think to myself, that sounds awful. Like, what have I done? What, like, that's a bad life. But right now, I feel good. I feel good where I'm at. I'm sober, and I would add that part to tell my 20-year, like, because when I was, you know, when I was 20 years old, in my 20s, I had some jobs of higher status through sales, and I was approaching bigger dreams and going after bigger things like of case management and social work, and which is still important. But I, I put myself so much on a pedestal of what other people thought of me. So my value to myself was on what I perceived the values of others. And I realized that, when, like, you've been taken down so many times by recovery, you've been humbled by just being in the rock bottoms and just the degradation that comes with just, you know, falling to the same old tricks and debasing yourself and just feeling those pure moments of like shame and guilt and all that type of stuff. When you feel that over and over again, it can break you down to where you don't want to go on, or it can also, in this weird way, kind of create a freedom to where, you know, I've done this to myself, and I truly can embrace the idea that there's nowhere to go but up in this weird way. Because it's like, if I have, like, if all these things I wanted to accomplish have not accrued and have not became to what I wanted them to be, well, I can start over. But it's fine to start over and do what I want from this point on. Because here's the one thing I didn't tell, like, that 20-year-old Dave when I went back and told him how my life was, is the most important thing is not what I was doing for a living, not who I was with, not like where I was at or anything. It would be, hey, how are you feeling? And I would say, like, as of right now, 35-year-old Dave is feeling okay. And 20-year-old Dave was not feeling okay. He may have had a lot more aspirations and better things going for himself, but he was not feeling okay. And 20-year-old Dave would actually be like envious of the 35-year-old Dave, even though the stature and the social like outlook of where he's supposed to be is different, and it's something he wants to achieve to. The weird thing is, it's just you are only with yourself. So it's just about being with yourself. So it's like, I would rather be the 35-year-old Dave that's okay with himself than this David that's been created in my mind to appease other people and to be something different than I'm not. And I mean, really, this revelation has come from the idea of truly, it takes parts of living a day at a time, where it's just about experiencing the day and embracing it. And it takes the other part about not looking, too far in the future or too far in the past, and it meshes them together as You know, if you don't, if you're not looking those either directions, you can just truly experience what you're feeling in that moment and what you like. So, like for instance, today, like I helped my mom out with a lot of stuff, this project she's working on, and the day before that, I did volunteer work. Like, I, a lot of people were like, "That's cool that you work for the Ronald McDonald House." Um, Organization, and people said that's cool, instead of like I could brag about like, hey, you know, I have this big writing career where I made a lot of money off of this book I sold. Either or, it doesn't matter, because they could say it's cool you volunteered that weekend, or it's cool you did that writing thing. Whatever, it's all about how I perceive what they've taken in for my own validation. So none of that matters anyways, because at the end of the day, I go home and lay on this bed to myself, and am I okay with what I'm doing right now? And it's really just like truly embracing that thought of I'm just here, and I'm experiencing life, and I'm enjoying life for what it is, and I don't need to be chasing anything. And there will be like hardships, there will be things that I'm like coming to that are difficult, like, you know, financial stresses, and you know, I'm still trying to figure out something like to live on my own and to be able to provide for a uh, family situation and everything like that. But I don't that doesn't have to be accomplished today. And the one thing that does have to be accomplished today is to remain sober. And I could do that. And that's like kind of the freedom and release, is like, okay, I don't have to accomplish this giant thing that I set myself to be. I don't have to do that all today. The only thing I have to do today is this little thing, is to be sober, which is always like reversed in my mind, because I always think that, you know, what what you stayed sober today, that's a victory. A lot of people do that. They do it without thinking it. But when I stay sober, I automatically start doing and living the things that people find hard to do. So I truly think like people out there that struggle with addictions, their minds are set in these different wavelengths, and you know, they could be in the direction towards a trajectory that is negative, and you know, just channeling so much energy and time and effort towards something bad. But if it's pointed towards something good, it makes their life immeasurably better. And I feel I'm on that like upward tilt to where I can go, hey, you don't need to care about what other people think. You don't need to like put your value for yourself. All you need to, you value yourself. And that's all that's there. So you can take that and help others, by the way, volunteer, get out and do stuff. And that's all that really matters. And if you go and lay in this bed again today and you're just like, I accomplished these things, I didn't fall back on this thing, I did this, it was good, then that's okay. And today's Monday, and a lot of people hate Mondays, you know, like a case of the Mondays or whatever, but the day's not over or anything like that. But I, you know, I thought about that little time travel experiment where if I were to tell my 20-year-old self right now where I'd be in this position. Maybe on the outlook, it wouldn't seem as great, but if I were to say, hey, all that stuff aside, you feel okay, I would take that deal. I'd definitely take that deal. So I hope I can, I don't know if this rambling relates or does something for any of you out there. If you're struggling, my heart goes out to you. I just want you to feel better. Other than that, be well.